This is not the regular type of Umrah videos you've been seeing around. The reason being that is I'm going to involve a little bit of technicalities so that we can match up with how the Prophet ﷺ performed his Umrah. After spending a lot of money to get your visa, to book a flight, to book hotels, and so on, you need to also invest your time to make sure that, look, the act of worship I'm going to perform, being it your Umrah or Hajj, follows the teachings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Shaitan will be trying everything possible to alter your iman, your intention, so that you lose the benefits from this act of worship. Now, Ruknul Yamani is a place on the Kaaba similar to where the black stone is. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this video, we are going to have a quick look at how to perform Umrah. So this is not the regular type of Umrah videos you've been seeing around. The reason being that is I'm going to involve a little bit of technicalities so that we can match up with how the Prophet ﷺ performed his Umrah. One, I'm going to talk about our niyyah, which is our intention. And then secondly, some of the do's and don'ts we have to observe while performing our Umrah. And then thirdly, what to do at the Miqaat. And then fourthly, how to perform Tawaf, how to handle some of the common issues that are faced by people during performing Tawaf, and then what to do at Makaam Ibraheem, and then fifthly, what to do at Sa'i, meaning where we do our Safa and Marwa. And then the last step is how to cut down your hair. So let's begin. Intention basically means performing a particular task solely for the sake of Allah, with the aim of attaining the promised reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allocated to that particular act of worship. That is intention. It is agreed upon by all our ulama that there is no need to verbalize your niyyah, your intention. There's no need to you to say, Allahumma inni nawaitu umrah, or Allah, I intend to perform umrah. There is no need. They said, mahallun niyya al-qalb. Where the intention is made is in the heart. So there's no need for you to verbalize it. And then the second most important thing is, after you making your intention, is al-mutaba'ah. Al-mutaba'ah means that making sure that you perform that particular act of worship step by step based on the teachings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is very, very important too. If you miss any of these two things, then whatever act of worship you intend to do or you are into will yield nothing in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So after spending a lot of money to get your visa, to book a flight, to book hotels, and so on, you need to also invest your time to make sure that, look, the act of worship I'm going to perform, being it your Umrah or Hajj, follows the teachings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the next step is making our way to the Miqaat. So Miqaat basically is a boundary that is allocated for people to take their intention before proceeding to perform their Hajj or Umrah. So I'm going to use the Miqaat of Medina as an example in this video, which is Zul Hulayfa. So this is a location not too far away from the masjid of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So after making provisions for your ihram and making provisions for whatever you need on your journey, Then you make your way to the Miqaat. When you get to the Miqaat, the first thing you should do is go to one of the washrooms, take your ghusl. Ghusl is the spiritual bath. It's very easy, just like the normal ghusl you do when you have janaba uh, and haid. It's the same. Do you get it? So you take your ghusl. After that, if you want to apply any perfumes to your body, directly to your body, you do that. If you want to cut off your nail or whatever, you want to trim your hair, whatever you want to do to your body, try and do it before you put on your ihram. So after putting on your ihram, for the males, we have two cloths. One to cover our lower part of the body, and then another to cover the upper part of our body. For the females, there is no specified dressing for you. You have to dress Islamically appropriate. Whatever Islam perceives or regards as being appropriate for a Muslimah to wear is enough for her. There is no need for you to wear your niqab or wear gloves. It is not required when you are entering the state of ihram. And then your footwear should it not be one that covers all your foot. At least your toes should be exposed, and then some part of your foot should be exposed. So you can use something like this in the image and others similar to that. The next thing is you go and take your 2 raka'at in the masjid at the miqat. After taking your 2 raka'at, you say, Labbaik Allahumma Umrah. Now you are in the state of ihram. Here are some of the things you should avoid while in these states. One, you are prohibited from engaging in any form of sexual relation. Anything that can lead to any sexual arousal or any sexual initiation, anything of that sort is prohibited. And then you are also prohibited from taking anything directly from your body or adding anything directly to your body, from your fingernails, cutting down your hair, anything. You are not supposed to do that. Or applying perfumes, all of these, once you are in the state of ihram, you are not permitted to do any of these. So, after saying Labbaik Allahumma Umrah, from that place until you arrive in front of Kaaba, all you have to be saying is Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik, Labbaik la sharika laka Labbaik, innal hamda والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. So this is what you'll be saying until you get to the Kaaba. You repeat this continuously. If you are tired, you can rest, but do not engage in anything that is going to affect your ibadah, anything that is going to alter your intention. But any discussion, maybe you want to discuss something with your relative, just normal things that do not affect your ibadah, there's no issue with that. You can proceed with that. And then before we get to the Tawaf, there is also another important thing. This is an act of worship. Keep in mind that Shaitan will be trying everything possible to alter your Iman. your intention, so that you lose the benefits from this act of worship. So constantly you need to be assessing your intention. You need to assessing your intention from time to time. If you find it with any defect, instantly you what? You renew it. Renewing it means what? Correcting your intention. Maybe perhaps while you are in your state of ihram, you are filled with iman, you are filled with hopes that Allah is going to accept your ibadah, then suddenly you get overtaken by worldly affairs. You get it. All these are waswas from shaitan. You need to quickly call yourself into line and then put yourself in line. Once you get to the masjid, once you get to the masjid, you walk directly to the Kaaba. You walk directly to the Kaaba and then try to locate the black stone. If due to the crowd you are not able to spot the black stone, there is an indication provided, which is a green light provided, which signifies where you can locate the black stone. So it is not compulsory for you to get close to the black stone. If due to the crowd you can't, just stand far away where you can perform your worship in peace without any loss of attention. So just stand anywhere, and then once you are directly at the side of the black stone, for the males, you uncover your right shoulder, which exposes your right hand, leaving your left side covered. With your left shoulder facing the black stone, you raise your right arm like this and you say, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Once you do that, then you start performing your tawaf. Keep in mind, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Tawaf is similar to the salat we perform. The normal salat we perform, it is similar. The only difference is that you are permitted to talk during tawaf. You can speak to your relative and so on. That's the only difference. So what this tells us is that anything that can nullify your salat similarly can also nullify your tawaf. So if your wudu is nullified, meaning your tawaf is nullified, you need to go out, make a new wudu, and then you come and start afresh, just like salat, regardless of the number of raka'at you've already done, you start afresh. Similar to the tawaf, regardless of the number of circles you've gone, when you return from renewing your wudu, you do not continue, you start afresh. You get it? So during the tawaf, you are going to perform 7 circles. You are going to perform what? 7 circles. During these 7 circles, you can say whatever dua you have, whatever. The only instance where you would have to say a specific dua is when you get to the Ruknul Yamani. Now, Ruknul Yamani is a place on the Kaaba similar to how where the black stone is, but just that there is no black stone over there. It is just uncovered, just like where the black stone is located. So once you get there, you start saying this dua, ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. So now, after saying that, you'll be repeating it until you get to the black stone again. Now you are done with what? Your first circle. Once you get to the black stone again, you raise your hand, your right hand, and say what? Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Then you go again. When you get to the Ruknul Yaman, you begin saying, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. So you repeat this for 7 times, then you are done with your tawaf. If during your tawaf it happens that the iqama is called for salat, there is no issue for you to pause your tawaf, pray your salat. After that, you continue. You are not going to begin from first circle again. Let's say you are in the third circle, and then it is time for Salatul Maghrib. You stand where you are, pray your Salat. After that, you what? You continue with your Tawaf. So now you are done with your Tawaf. The next thing is locate the Maqam Ibrahim. Maqam Ibrahim is also a structure where the footprint of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam has been placed in. So you can go there, take a look. You get it. Now, before you go there, for the guys, after your tawaf, you cover it back. You put it back. So after that, then you go to the Maqam Ibrahim and then take a look at it. It is not required for you to say any dua or do anything there. Most people go there and then they will be making dua. It is not required over there. So the next thing is you just move back a bit. Move back a bit, find a very secure place and then pray 2 raka'at. Pray 2 raka'at nafila. So in that 2 raka'at, the first raka'ah, you recite Qul ya ayyu al-kafirun. And then in the second raka'at, you recite Surah Ikhlas. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad to the end. After that, there are some containers placed over there where you can drink Zamzam. So you can drink your Zamzam if you want to rub some on your body. There is no issue with that, but do not wet the place. So after drinking your Zamzam, you move directly to Safa. You move directly to what? Safa. So once you get to Safa, there is a hill that you would have to climb. While climbing that hill, it is recommended that you recite Inna Safa wal Marwata min sha'airillahi. Then you also recite Abda'u bima bada Allahu bihi. Once you get to the Safa mountain, you just face towards the Kaaba and then raise your hand and recite this dua. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah wahda, la sharika lahu, lahul mulk, wa lahul hamd, wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. La ilaha illallah, anjaza wa'da, wa nasara abda, wa hazama al-ahzaba wahda. So you recite this dua 3 times. After each recitation, you will make your personal dua in between. You will make dua for whatever you need in between these 3 recitations. Then you descend down the Safa mountain. While you descend, you can do whatever dua you want. If you want to recite Quran, you can recite the Quran while walking down the Safa mountain or doing your Safa wal Marwa. Now, along the way, there is a place where a green light has been placed as a mark. So when the guys get over there, you need to speed up a little bit. For ladies, there is no need for you to do that. You can walk normally. So you walk down the Safa and then move towards the Marwa mountain. Once you get there, you also climb there and then repeat the dua you recited at Marwa 3 times again. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah wahda, la sharika lahu, له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. لا إله إلا الله أنجز وعده ونصر عبده وحزم الأحزاب وحده. 3 times. In between each recitation, you make your own personal dua. So after that, you have completed one. Then you descend down the Marwa mountain again and move towards the Safa mountain. Another most important thing to remember during your Tawaf and Safa and Marwa is when you miss your count. During this movement, you have a doubt as to whether you are on the third or fourth round. Just pick the minimum number, which is what? 3. That is more secure for you than picking the higher number. Each circulation counts as 2, not 1. Do you get it? Each circulation from Safa to Marwa, from Marwa to Safa counts as what? 2. So during this movement, whenever you get to each of the mountain, you repeat the recitation of the dua I just spoke about. So if you do everything correctly, your 7th turn will align with you descending from Safa to Marwa. If everything you are doing is right, the 7th round will align with what? You descending from Safa to Marwa. Then you just pass through the exits and go outside the masjid. So once you are outside the masjid, you look for a shop to cut down your hair. So you have 2 options here, but the most recommended option is you trimming everything. Go bald, trim everything. That is for the guys. But if you don't want to trim everything, you can also cut your hair uniformly to the same level. So you can have a down cut, that is also okay, but trimming everything has more blessing, because the Prophet ﷺ said, "Oh Allah, forgive those who trim all of their hair 3 times." Meaning he prayed for such people 3 times, that may Allah forgive them. And then he prayed for those who just reduce their hair once. So it is highly recommended that you cut down everything. Go bald. With the ladies, there's no need for you to trim everything. Just hold your hair and then cut the tip. That's it. That's all for you. Once you have done that, you are done with your Umrah. Then you can resume whatever that has been prohibited to you, from sexual relation with your halal spouse, and then cutting down your nail, applying perfumes, whatever that has been prohibited for you is now permitted for you to do. So this is basically how to perform your Umrah in the steps I have explained. So now in summary, I want to summarize everything. I've said a lot. So the first step, make your intention, making sure that your Umrah, you are doing it for the sake of Allah, in hope that He is going to grant you whatever reward He has allocated for that particular act of worship. After Niyyah is Mutaba. Make sure that whatever you are going to do during performing your Umrah is something that has been taught by the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Anything you involve in this act of worship outside what you have been taught by the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is going to affect your Umrah. So we are done with the first step. The second step is get to the Miqaat. This is where you take your bath, take your nafila, and then say labbaik Allahumma Umrah. After that, third step, you go to the masjid where you locate the Kaaba, the black stone, you start your Tawaf. After your Tawaf, you locate the Makaam Ibraheem, pray 2 rak'at there, drink Zamzam, and then move towards the Safa mountain. Descend to Marwa, and then return back to Safa 7 times. After that, you exit, trim your hair, khalas, you are done. May Allah accept our ibadah and grant us whatever reward that has been allocated for this particular act of worship. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.